National Lacrosse League. In 1988, the Gate brothers introduced the Air Gate to the world. In 2001, a professional outdoor lacrosse league was founded, known as Major League Lacrosse. In 2011, the Lacrosse Network was formed on YouTube. Paul Rabel in 2013 was deemed lacrosse's first $1 million athlete. And in 2014, Miles and Lyle Thompson won the Tewaaraton Trophy. This is the history of lacrosse in 60 seconds. Lacrosse is North America's oldest team sport of Americans, possibly as early as 1100 AD. Traditional lacrosse games could last several days and were played by upwards of 100 to 1,000 men on fields close to 2 miles long. In 1637, a French missionary saw that Iroquois tribesmen play the game, coining the term lacrosse. In the 1840s, French settlers in Canada took up the game. In 1859, lacrosse is declared Canada's national sport. By 1877, New York University played Manhattan College in the first ever collegiate lacrosse game. In the 1930s, box lacrosse was introduced. In the late 1960s, plastic heads were introduced. In 1987, the Eagle Pro Box Lacrosse League was founded, later becoming the National Lacrosse League. In 1988, the Gate brothers introduced the Air Gate to the world. In 2001, a professional outdoor lacrosse league was founded, known as Major League Lacrosse. In 2011, the Lacrosse Network was formed on YouTube. Paul Rabel in 2013 was deemed lacrosse's first $1 million athlete. And in 2014, Miles and Lyle Thompson won the Tewaaraton Trophy. This is the history of lacrosse in 60 seconds. Lacrosse is North America's oldest team sport, originated with Native Americans, possibly as early as 1100 AD. Traditional lacrosse games could last several days and were played by upwards of 100 to 1,000 men on fields close to 2 miles long. In 1637, a French missionary saw that Iroquois tribesmen play the game, coining the term lacrosse. In the 1840s, French settlers in Canada took up the game. In 1859, lacrosse is declared Canada's national sport. By 1877, New York University played Manhattan College in the first ever collegiate lacrosse game. In the 1930s, box lacrosse was introduced. In the late 1960s, plastic heads were introduced.
And welcome in to the Reach 11 Sports Complex here in Phoenix, Arizona. We're awaiting a matchup between the number 2 Arizona State Sun Devils and the number 3 Colorado State Rams. I'm Trey Lanthier. Alongside me, Mickey Miles Felton. And a great matchup awaits us here today.
Yeah, both teams have gotten instructions from the referees, the officials, and it's time for the face-off. And I say let's crank it up and get going here.
Oh, yeah. You know, games like this don't come along very often in the regular season, but you love a chance to see it, especially in such beautiful weather in the bright sunshine, as the opening face-off is all the way back to the Arizona State offensive box, but it's picked up by Colorado State. An errant pass to start things off, and ASU will have the first possession.
Yeah, ASU is 4-1 on the season, on the early season, and Colorado State is 5-0 with one win in their division, in their conference.
Cooper Piquel rolls to the outside, then up top to Carrasco. And this ASU offense, a very strong blend. They really work well together. They have a superstar caliber player in Dan Davis. They have a role type low in the attack with Rhett Rogers. Lots of guys who can do damage. And Tommy Carrasco out there on the field, number 39, he's a young guy who can make an impact as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the pace of this game starts out, seeing as both of these teams are prone to slower starts, but not there.
That's how it starts out.
Cooper Piquel with an off-angle try, buries it in the low left corner. That's exactly how you want to start this game out if you're Arizona State.
Yeah, they look like they were going to be patient like they were in the last game we watched them play against Colorado. And they were somewhat patient, but they didn't get the ball around quite as much as they did the other day. And I think that might have surprised Piquel's shot, might have surprised the goalie a little bit.
Yeah, and Cooper Piquel, a guy you always have to watch. He's one of the unheralded heroes on this roster. You don't hear too much about him. You hear about guys like Dan Davis in the past, Justin Straker, and the guys like Payson Clark. But really, Cooper Piquel is one of those guys who can do it all for ASU. Handy wins the faceoff and then just tosses it over his shoulder for Tommy Carrasco.
Yeah, Handy is one of the better facemen in the MCLA. He's a proven commodity, and he hooked up there with Carrasco. They knew what they were doing when he flipped him that ball.
Oh yeah, Zach Handy using that senior experience all the time on the field, and you can see it. It carries so much weight But what's interesting about this ASU face-off game is that a freshman has emerged in Zach Mathian, who's really had an outstanding start to the year. And if you're an ASU fan, you've got to be resting assured knowing that you've got a great face-off specialist as a freshman to fill the shoes of Zach Handy once he's gone. Piquel gets an opening pass inside. Davis turns around, he scores! Dan Davis puts it home on the feed from Piquel, and it's a 2-0 game early.
That was a nice clean pass by Piquel to Davis. Davis was pretty open in the about 5 yards out from the crease and around 5 feet out, and he buried it high.
Yeah, what a quick release for Dan Davis to be able to turn around. Obviously, no chance at evaluating the situation, just instinctual muscle memory.
From the good hands, folks.
Yeah, there you go.
From the good hands, folks. And that was a yowza, by the way.
Zach Handy is flattened in the face-off X.
Him, I mean. Everybody's.
Henry Archie brings it up. And on the far side, it's Finn Wells. Wells takes a shot, a nice save there for Salami, and another try. This one didn't get in Salami's way. In the near side corner, a nice play for Colorado State, and the Rams now working the opposite direction. 12:30 on the clock, and this is the first time that we've seen Colorado State's offense get some time with the ball. Monheiser, real star candidate the other day against Simon Frazier. But this is an offense, as we were talking about earlier, that can really rely on any player on any given day.
Yeah, they're looking. They're taking some patience here, having some patience rather, and getting the ball around. You can see how cleanly they move the ball and how quickly they move it.
Yeah, they're already settling into a rhythm right now, as this ASU defense is going to have its work cut out for it here today.
Right. They look like they're pretty much under control right now. They're not overplaying them, and they're letting them pass the ball around.
And it's interesting to see Trevor Sciato, number 43, out there as an LSM. He's not a guy who's seen too much playing time. He's got a very small frame for a defensive player. As Joy gets a drive, his shot taken, Rufanis with the save.
Nice outlet pass.
And that's something that they have been working on. Coach Stone mentioned before the game that they've really been pressing Rufanis to improve his outlet passes, and right there, a good example of how he's been improving.
Yeah, Archie, as soon as he saw that shot being taken, he broke up field, and Rufanis hit him.
ASU still moving with a lot of speed behind them as Carrasco thought about a drive. So at the 10:45 mark, both teams have gotten some quality looks at the cage, but it's ASU who's found the back of the net twice now. They have a 2-0 lead over Colorado State. And this isn't something this Colorado State defense is accustomed to, usually starting out games very strong. So some early adversity for the Rams.
Arizona State in their nice spread out offense, taking time, patience. Carrasco picks up the ball. We called out his name quite a bit the other night.
Yeah, and Tommy Carrasco, a name you might not have heard too much. He's a freshman and a guy who really impressed in fall ball and won himself the starting gig alongside Cooper Piquel and Kyle Denis. And that's a great starting line to work on. Piquel goes low again. This time, another save from Salami as a chance from just outside the crease.
It's a shot we always like to mention at the beginning of the game for new spectators, that a shot, when it goes out of bounds, it's the team that's closest to the ball when the ball goes out of bounds. Sometimes the ball goes out on the side like it just did. Most of the time it goes out behind. A little adjustment for the goal down there.
Yeah, and that's why the best offensive systems you see will always have someone posted behind the cage, so when a shot comes through, they can maintain possession. Brett Rogers, a guy who's really made an impact early. An underhand pass from Denis, nicely done, but the Colorado State defense read that to perfection. And it's an interesting chess match right now between this offense and defense. Carrasco gets open, he shoots, and that's going to miss just barely. But you know he wants that one back.
Yeah, he paid for that a little bit too. But he got right up because he's a lacrosse player. Oh, yeah.
Dan Davis, the player of the year, or the preseason player of the year, according to LAX Magazine. Woo. Kyle Denis fanned on that one. He didn't realize that he'd already lost the ball. It ended up on the ground. But ASU holds on to possession. I think it was Dan Davis who worked his way out there. Now Davis with a chance inside, pass it off to Piquel. He's trying to make a spin move to get open. Piquel still with a chance, but he went a bit too high over the cage right there. 2-0 the score, ASU with the lead, and the Sun Devils have had possession for a big chunk of this first quarter. We're at the 8:35 mark in the first.
It's a nice grab by Denis.
Well, that's one of the things that's pretty nice about having the Twin Towers on that line is that you can toss it up top, and no matter how high you throw that ball, there's a good chance they're going to be able to jump up and get it. Carrasco with a nice feed to Piquel, but didn't quite connect, but he's got the right idea.
Piquel tried to one-time it and just didn't get the handle on it.
So now Colorado State heading back the other way. They had the ball for one possession on the offensive side midway through what we've seen so far, and that was it. Arizona State has really dominated time possession so far. We'll see if this offense tries to just slow things up a little bit and give their defense a chance to rest.
Yeah, their offense, again, is very strong, and they're going to be playing again with 6 players on attack, rotating them, keeping them fresh. And as you see, they're moving the ball around. They don't seem to be in any big hurry to go to the cage.
7:15 left in the first quarter. This Colorado State offense just getting comfortable. A nice little pattern there, but it may have been a bit too ambitious as it was intended for Taggart, but it's all the way on the other side. And a drive, shot taken on.
Outside,
that one
outside.
Off the side of the cage, but a fan reaction thought that it had gone through. The shot coming from Brian Allen.
Well, that's pretty typical of fans when they see the net moving like that. I think
It's
we
hard
all
to tell
have
sometimes.
that kind of feeling.
Oh yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes, especially with how fast this the ball moves at this level. So a quick turnover in the transition chance for ASU, and that's got to sting a little bit if you're the Sun Devils. For Colorado State, it's a second chance, and Coach Stone talked about that in the pregame. This team gives up too many second chances, and they have to make sure to limit those opportunities because this could be a chance for Colorado to capitalize on some momentum. A shot going low was Colin Zines right through the legs of Rufanis. 5:59 on the clock, and Colorado State cuts the lead in half.
Once again, they were very patient on the offense and moving the ball around. Maybe the Sun Devils kind of drifted into seeing a little too much sun for a bit, and that was a great opportunity, and he didn't waste it. Colorado State using a long stick defensive player on the faceoffs.
And it's something that doesn't usually
that
work
looks
against
like a loose
Andy.
ball, but no.
But it does this time. Andy initially won that draw, but it was picked up by the long pole. And now Colorado State has a nice stick work there by Peter Hull to withstand that drive. And this ball is all the way in the Colorado State offensive zone where they'll get set up. And remember, tweet in at us, at Trey Lanthier. We'd love to hear from you. A turnaround shot goes home. What a play by Monheiser.
Monheiser's a big kid. He's 6'1". He's a sophomore. And he's from Highland Ranch in Colorado, as most of their players are from Colorado.
Yeah, and a turnaround chance right there makes this a tie game. Just a moment ago, it felt like ASU had all the momentum, and then quick 2 Colorado State goals ties it up at 2 apiece, and this is the exact game we were expecting here today.
Yeah, we saw that last night. Every other minute, it was somebody else with the momentum.
Zach Handy wins this draw. One of the hardest things to do in sports is beat Zach Handy in back-to-back face-off tries. But Handy's had his struggles this season, a guy who typically doesn't face too much adversity. He had an 11-for-20 game against Cal Poly out in San Luis Obispo, and that's one of the worst performances he's ever had. And that's actually a testament to him as a face-off specialist when an 11-for-20 game is your all-time worst.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so Handy, a guy who's known around the league as one of the most lethal face-off specialists in the game.
And, of course, a good time to have a bad face-off game is early in the season.
Absolutely. 4:35 on the clock. Tyler Buck looked for an opening. And remember, tweet in us at Trey Lanthier. We love hearing from you, where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. Got a tweet in from Matt Blamey, head coach out at Dominican University. He's watching on the beach. So living the good life in California right now. But we can't complain about the weather here either, Mickey.
We are on the beach.
Essentially, there's no ocean, there's no sand, but there is a beautiful blue sky as this call is going to go against Colorado State. A push gives ASU a longer possession. 4:05 left in this first quarter, and we've had a little bit of everything here. I mean, we've gotten to see both teams showing off some of their muscles, and now it's going to be a question of how the defenses can respond to what they've seen so far.
Once again, both teams are taking to respect the weather, I think, and slowing down their offenses and just waiting for a good opportunity, giving the defensemen a rest. There actually haven't even been that many shots.
No, there really haven't been. Both these defenses are very good at limiting shot opportunities, and a hold going against Arizona State on the loose ball there.
It's a turnover.
So, and that can be a costly turnover if it heads back the other way. We'll see how Colorado State handles this transition. And nice body check laid on by Rhett Rogers.
And knocked the ball out of bounds.
And what a play there. Rogers lowering that shoulder and forcing Luke Ramsey to lose the ball. So ASU takes back over. We're nearing the 3-minute mark now. Both teams really haven't felt each other out at this point. You can tell these teams have done their homework. As the matchups right now on the field, every individual matchup is intriguing.
You know, coaches talk to coaches, videotapes available today. It's a good opportunity to understand what a team does, but nothing like playing against them.
Looking for a pass inside was
Shot
Wells. Takes that shot right off the near side. A bit of a bad angle, but a good try from Finn Wells. However, ground ball picked up by Colorado State. Rhett Rogers picks that one out of the sky. And ASU is going to get set up again. So Colorado State comes up with back-to-back stops, and it results in back-to-back turnovers, and they're clear.
Sounds like we have a little more ASU fans, a few more ASU fans here.
And I think that's just a product of the Tempe campus being only 30 minutes away from here in North Phoenix.
Yeah, and of course, you know, the first 1,000 fans that came in got a free T-shirt from Coaches versus Cancer.
A shot taken at the low angle and a nice save made by Salami. We're getting some tweets in here from all around. Watching my Sun Devils from sunny Spokane, Washington. Says N.A. No name there. And Kim Schrock says, Kim, Lee, and Sammy are cheering on the Rams from the district in Fort Collins. And so you get a lot of people from all over the country tuning in, and it's great to hear from you guys. Remember, you can tweet in at Trey Lanthier. As we are at the 1:31 mark, Colorado State calls a timeout, and you can expect they're going to come out of this looking for the final shot in this quarter. It's been a back-and-forth game so far. ASU jumped out to a 2-0 lead early, and then Colorado State quickly turned the tables on them. And right now, I don't think either team has the momentum.
No, it's pretty even right now, and I'm sure that Colorado State, the Rams, are Coach Alex Smith is putting into play, explaining exactly what he wants to do. Of course, they practice it over and over during the week, but just a reminder for the players that we maybe want to hold on to the ball. We'll see what his strategy is, but I would bet or guess, I wouldn't bet, but I'd guess that they were are going to hold on to the ball for a last shot.
And we're going to toss it down to Margot McCauley, who's on the sideline right now. She got a chance to listen in to that Colorado State huddle.
I don't know if you guys can tell from over there, but the energy over here on the sideline is very intense. You can tell it is a huge game for both of these teams. Coach Alex Smith, very animated. He was not happy when his team went down 2 goals, but he's happy now. He's proud of his defense, and he wants them to clean it up for the remainder of this quarter, and we'll hear more from him at the break.
Great in-depth analysis there from Margot. She's got the inside look out there on the sidelines, and really, this is the type of game where your sideline's going to come in handy, not just in terms of how the players coming off the bench play, but in terms of the energy they're able to provide.
Well, let's see what they're going to do. It appears at first as they're going to run out the clock and get that last shot.
Yeah, there's
But you never
1:10
know.
left in this quarter. It's been a long first quarter, but it's been a good one. We've seen some great lacrosse so far.
ASU shutting off.
An interesting
Brian
decision.
Allen up top.
Interesting decision. We saw ASU shut off Peter Doyle earlier in the year when they played Stanford. This
Checked
ball
away.
poked free, and now Arizona State has possession. They're heading back the other way. 45 on the clock here in the first quarter. As the long stick lost it for a moment, it was Duncan Spencer who brought it across for the Sun Devils, and now it's picked up by Cooper Piquel.
That was Zach Long that had that sweet check down at the other end.
And Zach Long has come in handy for ASU as an LSM that head coach Joe Thone can put right into the mix of anything. And even as a younger guy, he makes a big impact. Denis on the drive, goes high to low. Beautiful. Kyle Denis gives the Sun Devils a lead with only 13 seconds left on the clock here in the first quarter.
It's a little breakdown on the defense on one-on-one, but Kyle Denis we know is a very well-accomplished player, and gets the old yowza from me.
As Hall 4 and DWIM both watching Colorado State and rooting on the CSU Rams. Fans watching from East Tennessee. So you get fans from all over. 13 seconds here, though. Still enough time for someone to make or end up scoring a goal here, depending on how it goes. Zach Handy with the win on the face-off. 5 seconds left, trying to pass it up the middle, and you have to appreciate the effort from him, but that will run this quarter out. And so the first quarter comes to an end. ASU had the final word, but it was a back-and-forth tussle from the get-go. 3-2 the score through 1.
Yeah, well, you have to wonder if that's an indication of the way the rest of the game is going to go. ASU came out strong, scored a couple of goals. The Rams came right back, scored 2, tied it up, and it was tied at 2 for a while until this last goal.
That goal with 13 seconds left to go in the quarter. He said, guys, we have to be more patient on offense. We got to wait for those shots to open up. Don't just be shooting anytime. We got to wait for the shot to open up. So he also doesn't want to let Colorado State get back into this game. He said, guys, right now this is a time where we break away and we take over this game.
All right, so Coach Thone pretty fired up at the break, and how can you blame him? Kyle Denis really amping up that Arizona State sideline with a late goal. Only 13 seconds left to play in that last quarter. And now heading into the second quarter, both teams know what they're throwing out there. It's a question of how these coaches can make the proper adjustments to break down the opposing defense.
Well, we're going to find out in about 10 seconds right now after the face-off.
Yeah, and this one, 1-2 Cooper Piquel, or it was one by Handy, 2 Piquel, and ASU going to set up in the clear, but a tough ride being put on by Colorado State. It's safely back in the hands of Rufanis.
Cooper Piquel is a great guy to have on your team. He is all over the field all the time, and he now has the ball.
Yeah, and he's a guy who can really do it all. He's proven that he has the distribution abilities to come up with big assist totals, but he can also score at any given moment, and that makes for a deadly threat across the board. And Piquel, honestly, just a freak athlete in a lot of ways. He was a high school basketball superstar in Southern California and opted to come out here to play lacrosse, and a player who played at Foothills, and one of the more successful high schools in the country year in, year out when it comes to producing lacrosse superstars. Denis winds up, and he takes a very hard shot.
Down, ball is
and it looks like
dead.
It was Piquel who got knocked to the ground. So we'll see what the call is going to be here, and it looks like it may be Colorado State player taking a knee.
Illegal body check. That's a 1-minute penalty.
And this is a big chance right now. Arizona State on the man up with a 3-2 lead here early in the second quarter. 13:58 on the clock. ASU trying to extend the lead to 2.
They're set up initially in a 3-3 offense.
Trey Lanthier alongside Mickey Miles Felton here. You're watching a LAX Coaches versus Cancer Classic game
And
here.
eventually they'll send somebody back behind the cage, and there he is to receive the pass.
Kyle Denis
Shot.
winds up, but that shot off the mark. However, ASU keeps possession. A high, lofty pass trying to go back to X, and this one's going to go out of bounds, but it was tipped, say the referees.
We got to believe the referees today. It comes,
Carrasco lost track of that one. Actually, it was Sage DeVault who couldn't
he had a
see
hesitation.
the ball.
He wanted to shoot, and then he decided not to, and the ball just popped out of his stick.
And what a pass right there by Salami. A no-look feed. He had a great idea, great sense of where the ride was positioned and was able to get that one off. Now Colorado State works it into their offensive box. And
Every
they can
time
basically kill off
you
this penalty.
mention salami, it makes me think about going back to my New York delis.
Yeah, it's
Getting hungry here. What do you think?
Well, blame David and Clark Salami. I don't know what to. I don't know what to tell you. Can't call them anything else but their name. 12:45 on the clock. Remember, you can tweet in at us at Trey Lanthier. We'd love to hear from you. 3-2 the score. ASU leads, but Colorado State knocking on the door.
Colorado State's moving the ball very well, and I think they're looking to shoot right now.
A tic-tac-toe pattern through the middle,
Stolen.
but it would not get past Zach Long, and Long is now streaking straight up the center of the field, checks into the box, and then falls to the ground, but he's still able to get the pass off. That is a very mature play for a sophomore.
Nice athletic play.
12 minutes left in this second quarter. In the first half so far, doesn't really have anyone breaking away in this one. Exactly what we expected. These games between Colorado State and ASU are almost always back and forth tussles. And for good reason. They're well-coached programs and a lot of talent on the field here today.
And disciplined. I'd like to add that because they really are doing what the coach wants.
A shot taken from Finn Wells, but he was going wide right with it.
High and wide.
And a correction in here on number 23 for ASU. It's Dolan Hammond. Thank you, St. Dan, for the tweet. ASU mixing up its rosters a little bit, and they're sporting their white jerseys, and it throws us in for a bit of a loop as a turnaround try right up the middle, picked up and kept with the Sun Devils. So they'll continue to keep this chance. A behind the back try from Henry Archie, trying to show a little bit of flashiness on that one.
I think number 51 for Arizona State attackman, he's not on their roster, so he must be wearing, something must have happened to his jersey. Maybe we can find out who that is.
As looks like it may have been a violation in the crease. So 10:35 in this second quarter. 3-2 the lead for ASU, but it doesn't feel like anything but a tie game right now. Colorado State, a very lofty pass in the clear. Zach Mathian putting some pressure on. He's that backup face-off guy we've been talking about, a big-bodied guy. He can play strong in the midfield as well. So, he comes in handy in more than one way.
Comes in handy when handy needs to go.
Yeah, I caught that as I was saying it. We're under 10 to play in the second quarter. Let's see if CSU can do some damage on the offensive side right now.
Still moving the ball around methodically. You can tell when they want to really get going. They're not so spread out like they are right now. As everybody starts moving a little quicker.
Yeah, and you can tell when the play starts amping up a little bit. Colorado State looking to find a drive. A spin move from Taggart. He looked for the opening, but his shot off the mark. However, he had two guys back for it. And number 51 is Billy Main. And he's listed on the roster as number 0. Bit of confusion there. We'll hope to get that cleared up as a flag is down right now. So Colorado State may have a man-up chance coming here soon, but they've still got the free play to wind out first. Brian Allen, we mentioned he was getting shut off earlier. Had the ball for a moment there. A deep rip taken from Taggart. It goes out, so we'll get the call. .8:39 on the clock, 3-2 the lead, and an interference call going against Arizona State. So Colorado State going to have their first man-up try of this game, and a big chance for them to tie it up right here.
They're starting in a 1-3-2. One coming from the back, 3-2, 2 up top.
Expect a little bit of patience to start things off here as they look for the shot they want. Nice working around and a high to low try from the far side. Rufanis with the save. The rebound picked up and put through. A.J. Stewart, the sophomore attackman, snuck on in there and golf putted it home. 3-3 the score.
A.J. Stewart gets a yowza. Absolutely. Even it's a man-up play. Picked up the loose ball. Put it between the pipes.
8:21 on the clock. And Colorado State ties it up on the man-up chance. Not much you can do there if you're the Arizona State defense. They came up with the initial stop, but the ball's still free, and that's what that extra man can do to you as Colorado State takes advantage.
Well, we've seen the way these teams can move the ball around, so having that extra man is a big deal. So face-off.
This one all the way back just to the outside of the Colorado State offensive box. It's scooped up by ASU, though. I believe it was Handy who got it the last moment. And that's a good example of how Handy hustles across the field. He's never going to give up on a ground ball. And more often than not, he's the guy who can pick it up if it's laying out there for long enough. Cooper Piquel weaves through the ride, and he brings it into the box. Swim dodge, I think, is my favorite. I think it's my favorite dodge. If I had to rank my dodges, I don't rank my dodges, but if I did.
I don't rank the dodges. I rank the Mets.
Oh, there you go. 7:40 on the clock. We've got a tie game. 3-3. Number 2 versus number 3. It doesn't get any better than this in the regular season. LAX Coaches versus Cancer Classic. Some great games going on out here all weekend long as Denis tracks that one all the way up to essentially the warning track of the midfield. But he does get it in time, and now ASU going to get set up again in their offensive set. Rhett Rogers being handled very well by the long pole. That's Peter Hull with some solid defense. Carrasco, nice feed inside, shot taken on. It's popped up in the air, and it's caught by Peter Hull. A very nice sequence of events for
absolutely.
Colorado State.
Absolutely. Carrasco is fortunate to be running with Piquel and Denis. It's a great opportunity for him. And they seem to have a lot of faith in him, but that was a turnover.
Well, and a nice save as well. 6:30 on the clock here in the second quarter. This one's on the ground. Denis forced it out, and we'll see who comes up with it. It is hard to come up with a ground ball with Kyle Denis and Cooper Piquel there, but Colorado State does. And the Rams hoping to shape this into their lead. And right there, getting caught looking at the sideline was Taggart.
They'll settle things down for a second, and then I think they're going to go back to the cage. Get the players they want out there.
.5:45 to play. Both teams very methodic, and they can burn a lot of time with one possession if they choose. But on the flip side of that coin, they can also streak down the field and transition pretty easily. So you're really getting the best of both worlds in both of these teams. As Colorado State moving the ball with a lot of purpose right now.
Hard pass.
Allen weaves his way inside. He scores. Allen got right between the double that was collapsing on him and was able to get the shot off high to high. Rufanis didn't see it. 5:18 on the clock, a 4-3 lead for the Rams.
Well, this one obviously is going back and forth, as you predicted earlier in the game.
Yeah, this is CSU's first lead so far today. 5:18 on the clock. And let's see how this next face-off goes.
Sometimes I think they should be giving assists to the face-off guy.
Yeah, sometimes.
Because without Handy picking up that last ball, that goal.
Handy wins the draw. And he works it into the box. Nearing the 5-minute mark here. And on that other field, we've got a game going on between Grand Canyon and Santa Barbara. Grand Canyon with an 8-3 lead at halftime. And that's a good showing for Grand Canyon after a BYU game that was very disappointing. They lost that one 15-11. Clearly not the same thing here today, as they're having a nice showing against the Gauchos. And we'd like to thank our event partner at Under Armour Lacrosse. And they had Jeremy Sieverts come out here, the Denver Outlaw and former Maryland star, calling games with us. And I got a chance to call some games with him as well. Such a knowledgeable guy, a very smart authority on the sport. And it was great to have him out here. Thank you so much to Under Armour for providing that.
Excuse me a second. That is Billy Main, number 51, wearing a 51 jersey for Arizona State. Yeah, this has been a great event. LAX Coaches for versus Cancer. run by Matt Holman, doing a phenomenal job here. You can see Matt all over the place. He's not beyond picking up garbage. He's working the board today.
Well, and I think something we've noticed from this event is that, if you're not out here right now, if you're watching from wherever you may be watching, you should make plans to come out here in 2016. It might not be here, but it'll be somewhere in the West Coast. You'll have some great weather, and it's a great event. It will be here. We got confirmation from Matt Holman live. It will be here, and it's really an awesome event that you'll want to be out here for, as that pass is a lofty one. It goes out of play. And remember, if you happen to be associated with an MCLA Division II program or some WCLA program, reach out to us at holman@mcla.us. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to get you involved with this event next year.
Yeah, I'm sure that everybody's going to want to come back.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe we'll have more teams here. But there's also, again, to remind everybody, there's collegiate women's teams here playing, as well as high school teams, local high school teams playing. So it's a major event going on here. And of course, as we say about wait a second.
Gonna wait to see how all this plays
out. Loose ball push call. It is ASU's ball. But everybody likes to help out cancer. We all know somebody that's been touched one way or the other by that horrible disease. It's the research that's gone into it has improved over the years, and tournaments like this, a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there, everything helps. So we thank everybody for their donations, and you can always make donations online.
2:15 on the clock. The feed inside from Denis is scooped up from Carrasco. Maine gets open. The pass inside. Piquel turns it over. What a play as Piquel caught that one in transition, turning across his body, comes up with the shot.
Yeah,
what a play.
Piquel is not somebody you want to leave open in 2 feet away from the goalie. It was a great look. Turned, fired, put it right in over its shoulder.
So a tie game once more. Back and forth we go. Getting a tweet in from Steven Glansberg. Says, long live Mickey Miles. Can I get a yowza for the Lax Cat legend? Hashtag bring back Mickey. So you're not just famous out here, Mickey. You're also famous on the Twitter sphere. As he's asking me to give a yowza. So I think I got to do it in the voice and everything.
Yeah.
So to Mickey, yowza. I hope I did that good enough, Steven. I hope I did that good enough because I did it just for you. Getting tweets in from all over. We'll get to those in just a moment as Handy wins the draw and gets it into the box. ASU going to call a timeout. They like what they're seeing so far in this recent sequence of events, and with under 2 minutes to play, they're going to see if they can possibly wind this down for the final try of the quarter. And so far, it's exactly the game we expected.
Yeah, it is, and the last 2 minutes will be really important for the next to see who's going to go into the locker room perhaps at halftime in the best condition. And Stevie O, here's a yowza for you, buddy. Thank you.
So I guess you do know who your fans are. And really, yeah, again, tweet at us at Trey Lanthy. We'd love to hear from you, where you're watching from. And a great game going on right now. I'm sure a lot of fans tuning in from not just these camps, but also from across the MCLA. This is a game that has huge implications. When you think back or when you think ahead to the MCLA tournament, when you're making your seeding decisions, this is the type of game that you're going to look at. And we're going to go down to the sideline right now for a report from the ASU camp. Margot McCauley standing by.
All right, guys, right there listening in to the ASU huddle, Coach Thone called over his defense right away and said, guys, it is 4-4 right now, and 2 of their goals have come because we made defensive errors. These are mental mistakes that we cannot make them for the last 2 minutes of these half if we want to be tied and still in this game or ahead at the half.
All right, so Joe Thone getting on his defense a little bit, and with good reason, as both of these teams are going to hold their units to a high standard. But honestly, we've seen some great lacrosse played so far. I don't really think there's much criticism that I can dish out based on what we've seen. I think a lot of it is just the fact that these are 2 great teams going at it.
Yeah, well, we're going to see now what the decision is for the last 2 minutes of the quarter and the half. We'll see if ASU is going to try to run down the clock for the last shot, keep it down in their end of the field.
Yeah, we're nearing the 1.5 minute mark before halftime.
I would imagine eventually, if they keep doing what they're doing, there'll be a warning from the officials.
Yeah, we'll see if the stall warning comes up, but before it does, we're going to get a chance to see a lot of this ASU offense get a touch on the ball as they're working it around. A pass right up over the cage to Carrasco, and Denis winds up, he fires. So that shot should allow ASU to keep possession without a stall warning. 1:05 on the clock here in the first half. 4-4 the score. It's all knotted up, and both of these teams have looked very good so far. That one sticked out of the sky and down, but Denis, the heads-up play to pick it up. So it looks like ASU will be trying to get the final possession here, as actually it ends up on the ground. It's Colorado State ball. And that's a big turnover there for the Rams, especially when you consider that there's still enough time here for them to do some damage on the other side as they work it. Sean Sullivan gets into the box. Sullivan takes a shot. That one almost through, but Rufanis made a great save on it. Now we're at the 15-second mark. It's still loose in front of the KJ. Score! That one was scooped up off of the ground, and I'm not even sure who came up with that one.
There were about 12 players right in the same spot, right, trying to get that ball.
Yeah, and it could have been any mix of guys. If you were tuning in and you happen to have seen who got that one, please tweet it in at us at Trey Lanthier. But we'll give that to the team. I mean, you talk about a scrum right in the center, and someone, no matter who it is, able to come up with possession and get the shot off despite the amount of bodies around him. And that's with 13 seconds left. The second straight quarter, we've seen a late goal. This time, though, it's from CSU.
It's a key face-off here with still 13 seconds to go. We've seen goals scored with a lot less time than that.
Archie scoops up the ground ball. 5 to play. Archie gets it into the box. Let's see if he has enough clock awareness. He does get the shot off, but Salami with the save, and that'll bring the first half to a close.
Absolutely. Colorado State up 5-4 after being down 2-0 in the first quarter. They showed that, as we all know, the game is not over till it's over. Long ways from being over. You still have 30 minutes of play left right now.
Oh, yeah, and honestly, you still can't tell me who's going to win this one. As a 5-4 game, Colorado State looks very good, but so does ASU, and it should come down to the wire here in Phoenix, as we're going to send it down pretty soon here, as Margot McCauley is standing down on the sideline to talk with head coach Alex Smith of the Rams.
All right, Coach, you start that half down. You dig yourself into a hole, 2 goals quickly given up, but then you have to fight back into that game. How do you avoid doing that in the start of the second?
We just got to continue to play good defense. We're doing a good job after those first 2 goals and making them really work for their goals. We're the type of team that really feels like we can prevent almost every single goal against. So we take that really seriously when on the defensive side. And so, it starts on defense. We got to continue to clear the ball well, having good possessions on offense, which I'm happy that I think our possessions are good on offense and we're earning some gritty goals, a couple ground ball goals. So those are big for us. We expect this to be a really tight game all the way through, and that's what we have so far.
Any team coming in to play ASU obviously knows the name Zach Handy. He was very dominant in the first half. How do you counter him in the second?
We just got to keep doing what we're doing, try to make it a mess in the middle, not let him win it clean. He's a great player, but, one guy can't beat you, so hopefully our team can continue to rise above.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second.
All right, some great reporting from Margot McCauley on the sideline. Alex Smith telling us how this game has gone so far. And honestly, a lot of it sounds the same as the pregame. Both these teams scouted this game out so well, they knew exactly what was coming.
And, of course, both coaches are telling the players the same thing. We can win this game. We're in this game. We're better than them, and we will prevail. But we have to give it 100% effort and not let up at all because we're playing against a good team.
Yeah, and we, there's no way to determine a victor at this point. We are going to step away for a moment. Don't go anywhere, though. We've got second half action for you right around the corner from Mickey Mouse Felton. I'm Trey Lanthier. You're watching MCLA Lacrosse action on the SLC YouTube channel.
Lacrosse Lacrosse League was founded, later becoming the National Lacrosse League. In 1988, the Gate brothers introduced the Air Gate to the world. In 2001, a professional outdoor lacrosse league was founded, known as Major League Lacrosse. In 2011, the Lacrosse Network was formed on YouTube. Paul Rabel, in 2013, was deemed lacrosse's first $1 million athlete. And in 2014, Miles and Lyle Thompson won the Wharton Trophy. This is the history of lacrosse in 60 seconds. Lacrosse is North America's oldest team sport, originated with Native Americans possibly as early as 1100 AD. Traditional lacrosse games could last several days and were played by upwards of 100 men on fields close to 2 miles long. In 1637, a French missionary saw that Iroquois tribesmen play the game, coining the term lacrosse. In the 40s, French settlers in Canada took up the game. In 1859, lacrosse is declared Canada's national sport. By 1877, New York University played Manhattan College in the first ever collegiate lacrosse game. In the 1930s, box lacrosse was introduced. In the late 1960s, plastic heads were introduced. In 1987, the Eagle Pro Box Lacrosse League was founded, later becoming the National Lacrosse League. In 1988, the Gate brothers introduced the Air Gate to the world. In 2001, a professional outdoor lacrosse league was founded, known as Major League Lacrosse. In 2011, the Lacrosse Network was formed on YouTube. Paul Rabel, in 2013, was deemed lacrosse's first $1 million athlete. And in 2014, Miles and Lyle Thompson won the Wharton Trophy. This is the history of lacrosse in 60 seconds. Lacrosse is North America's oldest team sport, originated with Native Americans possibly as early as 1100 AD. Traditional lacrosse games could last several days and were played by upwards of 100 to 1,000 men on fields close to 2 miles long. In 1637, a French missionary saw that Iroquois tribesmen play the game, coining the term lacrosse. In the 1840s, French settlers in Canada took up the game. In 1859, lacrosse is declared Canada's national sport. By 1877, New York University played Manhattan College in the first ever collegiate lacrosse game. In the 1930s, box lacrosse was introduced. In the late 1960s, plastic heads were introduced. In 1987, the Eagle Pro Box Lacrosse League was founded, later becoming the National Lacrosse League. In 1988, the Gate brothers introduced the Air Gate to the world. In 2001, a professional outdoor lacrosse league was founded, known as Major League Lacrosse. In 2011, the Lacrosse Network was formed on YouTube. Paul Rabel, in 2013, was deemed lacrosse's first $1 million athlete. And in 2014, Miles and Lyle Thompson won the Wharton Trophy. This is the history of lacrosse in 60 seconds.
We just want to compete. That's the way we go into every year. Just working hard and working on what we do and trying to get as good as we can at what we do, and then and be competitive at the end. So that's truly our expectation, is to be there and be competing at the end.
Last year we lost some of our guys, and they're back this year. Max Klein's back, which has really helped our offense. Jordan Greenhall got hurt last year. He's back this year, which is a big factor. I think just as a whole, we're more mature. Our defense is more mature. Last year we kind of got a lot of penalties because we were young. Some first-year starters out there, but we should be more mature as a whole. Our offense should be clicking better, and I just think we're practicing harder than we were last year, because it looks this year like we're really gonna make a run for it this year. Our overall goal is probably just get better every day at practice, working towards the playoffs, because that's really the one we want to be clicking at all cylinders, and we want to be playing our best lacrosse. And obviously winning the CIF championship is the ultimate goal, but progressively we want to get better each day and working for each other and being the best teammates we could be.
Complex here in Phoenix, Arizona, at halftime between Colorado State and Arizona State. We're going to go down to the sideline. Margot McCauley standing by with head coach Joe Thone of the Arizona State Sun Devils.
All right, Coach, intense first half. You get 2 quick goals, but you allow Colorado State to fight their way back into the game, and then you give up a late goal at the half. How do you get the momentum going back in your direction?
Ground balls. We need possession of the ball, and they're killing us in the ground ball battle. They're playing with more heart than we are at this point, so we just gotta, find it within ourselves and get back on the right streak.
Goalkeeper for Colorado State, David Salami, he has a lot of big saves, and their defense is being pretty tough out there. How do you break them down and get past them and score a few goals in the second?
Well, they're being really aggressive out in our guys, so we just need to, have patience, work the ball around, and, find some opportunities to cut and get them changing their heads and moving and watching our cutters.
Thanks, Coach. All right, you guys heard it here. It's going to be an intense second half. Back to you guys in the booth.
All right, thanks so much, Margot. Joe Thone clearly pretty excited about that half, and now joined by Matt Holman. Matt, you running this event here at the LAX Coaches vs. Cancer Classic. Well, tell us how the weekend's gone so far.
Well, I can tell you that it's gone great. Last year we held this in Palm Desert, as you said earlier. We had 8 games. This year we've expanded to 13. These are regular season MCLA games. We had 6 WCLA regular season games, 2 high school regional games, and 1 middle school regional game. So real happy with the turnout. It's been real positive feedback from all the teams. I think Coach Mickey Mouse Felton said it best, that every little bit does help. If everybody doesn't know, those purple shirts that all the players are wearing, they paid $15 for those shirts out of their own money, and half of that money does go to the American Cancer Society.
And if someone's tuning in right now who wants to join this event next year, what do you have to say to them?
I say come on out. We welcome you. We've got a facility here. It's hard to capture on camera, but we've got a facility with 8 fields, all with professional lighting, plenty of parking. The Reach 11 staff here in North Phoenix has been outstanding. Everybody's commented on how helpful they are. It's just a great facility, and I think folks can find plenty to do here in the Valley area. So we invite you to come on out. Just get a hold of me at Holman, Holman, at mcla.us, and I'm happy to help you get set up with coming out.
All right, thanks so much for joining us, Matt, as we are ready to get underway in the second half with the opening face-off. Zach Mathian in the draw. He wins it for the Sun Devils. So ASU going to start this half off with possession. The score is 5-4 right now. Colorado State with the advantage as they scored late in that first half, and now ASU looks to respond. Trey Lanthier alongside Mickey Miles Felton here as part of the LAX Coaches vs. Cancer Classic. Mickey, talking about that halftime report from Margot McCauley and just the Sun Devils. Joe Thone saying they're outplaying us right now. What do you have? I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, I think that for one thing, I didn't hear Margot's report because I didn't have my headset. It was being used by somebody else. But I think that it's a coach's talk. Coach's talk. I mean, he may believe that he's being outplayed, but I'm hearing that maybe the defense isn't playing as well as they could be. But the score is 5-4.
Yeah,
after 30 minutes of play, it's not like it's somebody's running away with this thing.
And his big level of concern was in the ground ball department. We'll see how that translates, as a nice job picking that one out of the sky. Dan Davis has it, and the Sun Devils just won themselves a possession on a heads-up play from Dan Davis, and you can see David Salami was kicking himself for that one. Davis weaves his way inside. He scores! Dan Davis.
And a penalty.
With the play at midfield, and then the drive along GLE, and sneaks up top, puts it home. That's just textbook attack play right there.
Well, we don't want to miss that penalty. That was an illegal body check, and so Colorado State will be playing man down for the first minute of the next face-off. So a goal like that can really be compounded by now a man-up situation.
And not only
or for
that,
Colorado State, a man-down situation.
And not only that, but it's a 5-5 game, so they tie it up. And ASU is going to start this off with possession. So they won't even have to worry about putting Handy out there to win a face-off, as we have 13:27 on the clock. ASU has tied it up.
It happens because the penalty was after the goal. After the whistle was blown, the penalty was called and committed and then called, and that's why there's no face-off.
So ASU in the man up, trying to reclaim the lead. We've been going back and forth all game long, and it's only fitting that ASU would have a chance to take a lead once more. A pass inside Davis with another try, and it was actually Finn Wells who was working his way from behind the net and couldn't quite find a quality shot.
Goalie went in and out of the crease, and that's why change of possession. It's a procedure call.
And not only that, the penalty hasn't been killed off yet. Wells with another chance, but this time he pulls it back out wisely.
Wells needed to take another step before he needed a better angle on that shot. It's a fake.
12:30 on the clock, down low, and it's put away. Sage DeVault was posted right outside the crease. That is great positioning on the man up.
Actually, a little trick play there with the fake flip and going in that direction, which led the pass down to the crease.
So a 6-5 lead for the Sun Devils. And it certainly feels like a long time ago that we were coming out of that half 5-4, but we're only at the 12:33 mark in this quarter.
Yeah, a couple of goals scored quickly. That's that penalty.
So ASU wins possession once more, nearly an errant pass, but it's scooped up by Tyler Buck. And a pass
off the stick
intended for Rhett Rogers. It'll go out of bounds off of ASU, so Colorado State takes over, and that's an important stop for this defense. Now let's see if they can clear the ball effectively, seeing as it's goalie Salami who's made a couple mistakes in the clearing game to put Colorado State in this hole. 11:50 on the clock in the third quarter. A rough body check laid on, and the ball comes loose. Zach Long putting the pressure on there. Now Gomez brings it across and into the box.
Sanchez.
And it is Jeff Sanchez who brought that one in.
Pretty quick player.
So ASU with possession once more. They've had a lot of time of possession. It feels a lot like the start to the first half when ASU would continuously win the chances from the face-off draw and then come up with quick stops. Nearing the 11-minute mark now. ASU methodically working it around the horn. Ebner can't find an opening. Passes it back. It's way too high for Rhett Rogers.
Another unforced error.
And a reminder that you can tweet in at us at Trey Lanthier up in here in the booth. But if you want to vote for player of the game, tweet at our sideline reporter, at Margot McCauley. She'd love to hear from you as for who you think the best performance in this game is. And if you want to hold off on voting, that's fine, but you can feel free to send it in now as well. Colorado State with a nice offensive chance. Rufanis, though, with a big save.
Rufanis got a little over-anxious on the clear, but Arizona State picks up the ball. LAX is Billy Main, wearing number 51 today.
$9:50 left in this third quarter. And on the far side, ASU trying to set things up. Patiently letting this play develop. And this is the mark of an experienced offense as Piquel drives inside. He looks high. It goes over the crossbar, out of play.
Hi, I'm back. A little trouble with, I think they cut me off. Not enough yowzers.
Definitely need a little more yowzas in this one. Very close game, deserving of as many yowzas as possible. And it'll be interesting to see how this shot comes off. It's Denis. That one was off the side. Denis had a couple of guys on him. Still was able to get the shot off. And this one taken by Hull all the way.
Good hustle on the ride by ASU, though.
Yeah, Dan Davis has really been showing that hustle all game long. So the Rams will get set up now. Still a 6-5 lead for the Sun Devils. 8:30 to play. And the Rams have not had too much time on offense so far in this third quarter. It's very eerily similar to the way that first quarter started out as well.
Yeah. Colorado State, though, still looks like they have shooting in their eyes. A little more. ASU has a little more patience, but that's their game, the Ram game. Ram at home.
Eric Ohl gets it to Colin Zines. 7:50 on the clock. Colorado State waiting for something to develop. A nice spin move going high to low was Brian Allen, but he missed that one wide right.
Had a nice move getting some his hands free, though.
And we'll see this Colorado State offense can penetrate against this defense. And you really have to give Joe Thone credit for being able to get this defense to the level that it's been at. He didn't have a single returner from last year's starting three and was able to turn it into the same powerhouse defensive unit that it's been throughout pretty much ASU's entire recent history.
Yeah, as I said, I've heard some complaints about the Arizona State defense, but I don't see it. Fight for the ball.
An over
whistle.
and back call. That's one of the
over
new
and
calls.
Back. Exactly.
It's being brought to the MCLA and the NCAA levels of lacrosse, and it's one that a lot of people have said is a positive adjustment for the sport. I mean, it's getting faster.
Basically, the over and back rule is very similar to basketball. If you're familiar with basketball, once you have the ball in the offensive half of the field, you can't bring it back into the other side, into the defensive side, and it usually happens with a loose ball, as it just did.
A drive put on. Dan Davis scores! He goes 5-hole through salami. And that's what Dan Davis can do to you if you let him get open like that.
So now we're back for the first time in a while to a 2-goal lead.
Yeah,
and
it's yeah.
So we don't know who had the best halftime speech, but
so far
it looks like Joe Thon gets a yowza.
Yeah, and speaking of yowza, we got a tweet in. Mickey, any rumor or any truth to the rumor that you'll be seeking a run in the 2016 presidential election with the hashtag Yowza Party? That one comment from Connor Cirillo. So
that's hilarious. Thank you, Connor.
As face-off won momentarily by Handy, but it looks like the ground ball is going to be with Colorado State, and it is. The long stick, Bradley Hall, making a nice play on that one. And the Rams, you know, I don't think there's any reason to be concerned right now. I think this is just the way this game has gone. But you know they're looking to answer right now.
Yeah, Connor, just to answer your question, I haven't decided yet. I'm waiting for Hillary to see what she wants to do.
All you politicians are the same. Colorado State getting set up on offense. Some more tweets coming in here. Go T-Bone. The Carrascos and Colvins are in Novato, California, cheering for the Devils. Tommy Carrasco's fan base out there in coastal California, right near San Luis Obispo.
Yeah, I wonder if that's politically correct to say you're cheering for the devil.
Maybe you always have to put the sun in front of there. You know, got to make sure to specify that you are not cheering for Satan. As a pass up top, and Colorado State getting reset here. 5:10 on the clock, a long wind-up from the near side. That was Brian Taggart.
Brian Taggart missed a great opportunity there. He really was one-on-one with the goalie, 5 feet out, maybe 3 feet out.
And I'm not sure if the sidearm shot is exactly what you want to be looking for.
Not in my coaching book, but I'm not out there playing, so I'm not going to criticize him.
4:50 on the clock left in this third quarter, and it has been a great game so far. Both teams going back and forth as the momentum has shifted several times. And this ball is on the ground. A scrum for it. A push goes against ASU.
That's a loose ball push, so there is no penalty time. If the man has possession, and it's obviously not a loose ball push, but if he has possession on a push, then it's a 30-second technical.
And we'll see how Colorado State can respond to the extended possession. Yeah. I'm sorry. 7-5 the lead for ASU. This one's been going back and forth all game, but it's ASU as of late. 4:10 on the clock. Colorado State looks to answer. They've had a long possession here, wearing down this Sun Devil defense.
We haven't talked too much about our super production guy, Ted.
That's true. TVX and Ted Bendrick do a great job on the production side of things. If you see that excellent camera work going on, that's all Ted for you. And they do a great job with everything they do. And it's great to have them out here helping us out, producing, getting our voices on the air and on the interwebs. And
let's not forget how these players get built up to be so strong and athletic. They're using the Muscle Milk.
Yeah, that's right. Muscle Milk, also an event sponsor. ASU moves in transition. They score! Low to high in transition. That shot coming courtesy of, I believe, Billy Main.
And once again, there's a penalty, illegal check, and that's after the goal. So that's going to create the same situation that was created a couple minutes ago, where the Sun Devils are going to have possession of the ball that will not be a face-off. And probably as soon as I say that, they'll change it, but let's see.
Well, yeah, and we keep talking about how it's a back-and-forth game, but right now it is all ASU. The Sun Devils are up 8-5 with 3:35 to play here in this quarter.
Well, I guess we got to recap that. Apparently there is going to be a face-off. Thank you very much, Mr. Official.
You can never get it right. It's a broadcaster's worst nightmare.
Seemed like the exact same play as before, but I can't give myself a yowza on that call.
So a face-off win for Arizona State, and regardless of whether or not you have the face-off or not, ASU comes up with possession, and they are in the man up. So we'll see how they can pull this one off, and if they can possibly extend the lead to 4. You know they'd like to give themselves some additional comfort room as we near the end of this third quarter.
Absolutely. This is a 1-minute penalty. Why they're taking their
shot
time.
From out far. Another one goes through. I believe it was Sage DeVault, and it was. what a play from the outside. Not an easy angle to put that one in through.
Well, the difference there is he bounced the ball and he had a nice hard bounce up into the upper corner. He knew exactly what he wanted to do and didn't need that extra step this time. Timeout.
And Coach Alex Smith has got to settle these troops down. I mean, it's only a 4-goal game, but it's the momentum that's more important than the score right now, as ASU has been rolling. This game was 5-4 CSU coming out of the half, and all of a sudden 5 unanswered goals from ASU, and it's a whole different ball game.
And now he has to be a little concerned with a 4-goal lead about the playing in this heat.
That's a good
point. Which they're not accustomed to, and the question is, did they go too hard in the first half of beginning of the third quarter? Are they going to be able to sustain an offensive situation after this face-off and at the fourth quarter?
And we're going to go down to the sideline right now for Margot McCauley, who just listened in to the Colorado State huddle. Margot, what do you have for us?
You guys are across the field right now, so you probably can't hear the energy coming from the ASU sideline. These are the type of games that people absolutely love. Just listened into the Colorado State huddle. The coach was telling the team, guys, right now, this is when we need to score a goal. We need it right now. They're drawing up a play, and they're going to look to get on the board right here, right now.
Yes, you can imagine coming out of this this timeout, Colorado State really hoping to have a quality showing, but it's not going to be easy with the way the momentum has played out so far in this one, and that's why you call a timeout right there. You kill off that momentum for ASU, and it all starts in the face-off X. It's not easy to beat Zach Handy. We'll see if they can do it right here. And they cannot. Zach Handy immediately
fast break
puts it down to that one as a shot opportunity for ASU, a bounce try. Salami got a piece of it. It goes out of play, but ASU will get the setup on their offense.
ASU, one more time, was closest to the ball when the ball went out of bounds.
And that was a good job positioning by Dan Davis. Instead of trying to get ultra involved in the fast break, he realized it's more important that he be behind the cage, and ASU able to hold on to possession at the 2:20 mark in the third quarter. It's been a close game throughout, but right now it is the Sun Devils who are in control.
Just about 2 minutes to play in the third quarter.
And you can hear how much chatter there is going on in this one. The mark of two great teams when they're communicating this effectively.
We used to tell players, you know, if you can't figure out what to say, just say anything, because it's confusing to the offense.
At the 1:30 mark, another bounce try from Piquel, and actually thought too hard about the bounce. That time it went so hard off the ground it went over the cage, but it's still with ASU, a man back for it.
I'd have to give ASU a little more leeway with their bounce shots because they're used to playing on these hard surfaces. Colorado State's up there in Fort Collins, a lot of mud and rain, so the surface is softer.
Carrasco gets open, takes a shot, but off the mark. He missed to the left, and that's a chase that is won by Colorado State. No, it's won by Dan Davis by a hair, but a close one and a good hustle by the long pole for CSU. At the 1 minute mark now, a pass across the crease is caught by Salami. A heads-up play by the goalie to know that he can play as more than just a goalie. He can play as a defensive player as well, and grabs that one out of the sky. Colorado State moving the other way. They've got some time to work with right now. 37 seconds on the clock, and CSU is going to try and cut this lead to 3.
You hear the fans yelling instructions. That's always interesting.
As a coach, I'm sure you're used to dealing with that.
Yeah, that's why I'm on the other side of the coaches' boxes are on the other side of the field.
15 seconds left in this third quarter. Colorado State going to have to move fast if they want a chance to develop here. You can hear the countdown coming from the scorer's table.
And it's ASU's ball, and he'll probably just hold on to it.
Rufanis just sends it up ahead. ASU with a monster third quarter, and that gives them a 9-5 lead heading into this break.
It's 5 goals to 1.
Yeah, actually, no, 5 goals to none.
5 goals to 0. I'm sorry.
It was
corrected.
Yeah, a very impressive showing from ASU. And honestly, I can't imagine that the time possession split was anything less than 11-4 in ASU's favor in terms of the minutes.
Yes, definitely. ASU had the ball more, and they slow things down. It's their game plan.
And remember, you can tweet in at us at Trey Lanther. We love to hear from you, your thoughts on the game, and who you're watching for, who you're rooting for, and how you think this one's going to play out. And if you have a player of the game choice, tweet it in at our sideline reporter at Margot McCauley, as it gets a little windy up here, and you can hear that in our mics. But we're going to send it down to Margot McCauley right now on the ASU sideline. Margot, what do you have for us?
All right, guys, right there, got to listen into the ASU huddle. Coach Thone said, guys, we are on fire right now, but we cannot stop. He called over his defense and said, this is the time where we need to prove ourselves. We cannot come out here in this quarter and let them get back into this game. So look them to be sharp defensively, and, they're not stopping. They're going to keep going on offense and look to get a couple more goals in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's the right mentality to have if you're ASU. There's no reason you should ever think about letting up. This 4-goal lead can very easily turn around if Colorado State gets hot.
Absolutely. They're on a roll right now. And they need to put the fear of the lacrosse god into the Rams.
The fear of the lacrosse gods. I like it. Mm-hmm. I like it.
Remember, we're in God's country here.
That's you keep reminding me of that.
Yep.
It's pretty hot for God's country. 9-5 heading into this fourth quarter. The opening faceoff will feature Zach Mathian. And Mathian, a guy who had a great showing against Colorado the other night, really proving to the MCLA world that he can hang with Zach Handy, and in doing so, he can hang with anybody in the country. As you see, Mathian right now wins the draw back to himself, but it's scooped up by Colorado State, and this might be a transition opportunity for the Rams. A heads-up play, though. A flag is down.
It's a trip. It's a trip against Arizona State.
And that is not the way you wanted this quarter to start out if you're ASU.
I think that the defenseman had, from the time he picked up the ball till the time he shot it, that was the only thing he had in mind, was he was going to shoot it. Getting double-teamed, triple-teamed, but fortunately it was backed up by Colorado
and it was
State.
John Sage who had that chance. Now Colorado State going to get to work around in a man-up situation. This could be a crucial moment for the Rams.
Well, it's a great opportunity, really.
A pass inside, and man fell down before he could get the play off. It was George DeYoung, or Degnan. ASU defense doing a great job covering all their bases right now. But an opening and nailing it home was Monheiser, as Ashton Monheiser found just a little bit of separation and had that athletic pull to get that one through.
Well, they were patient on their man up. Arizona State was very aggressive and playing very well, but something had to give one way or the other, and it went in favor of the Colorado State Rams, which breaks the score to 9-6, and now maybe some new life added into the Rams.
Yeah, all of a sudden, this is one goal away from being right back into that narrow margin, as Zach Handy back out there in the face-off X. And a quick win for Handy. He's got the ground ball. He's met by a crowd of defenders. Smartly gets it back to Rufanis, and ASU will set up its clear. And what a great game we've had so far here today.
It's Handy with the ball.
Handy, staying out there because he's got such great ball control skills. He's the guy that you want to be handling it through a ride. And a great event here out in Phoenix, Arizona, the LAX Coaches vs. Cancer Classic. We've had great games going on all weekend long, and unfortunately this is the last game of the weekend, but it's been a heck of a couple days out here. Trey Lanther alongside Mickey Miles Felton, thank you so much for joining us on the SLC YouTube channel. We'll have SLC Game of the Weeks going on all season long as Dan Davis comes up with the shot, but an even bigger save for David Salami. And Salami has had some great performances so far this year, but here's a chance for him to do it against one of the best offenses in the country. And if somehow Colorado State can work back into this one, it's all going to start with Salami. But an error in the clearing game gives ASU possession right back.
Yeah, that was a terrific save and a very important one, but it lost its importance when it was thrown out of bounds. Unforced error.
12:45 on the clock in this game.
Now ASU is going to continue their slow-down offense and that they've been running all game. Now it's even more pertinent, and it's going to create some serious problems for the Rams.
And while we've seen their offense run time off, Tyler Buck with a shot. Salami got a piece of it. It's over the top of the cage. It's still in the crease, though. Salami has it pinned, but he does not have possession yet. He finally is able to scoop it up, as it looked like a player may have entered the crease, and now Colorado State is heading back the other way. Let's see if they can make anything of this chance. A nice pass right up front. A shot taken on from A.J. Stewart, but a better save. And
as a turnover again. It's going to be Colorado State ball. That was a great pass. He just couldn't find the handle of it because he would have been one-on-one with the goalie, Rufanza.
Monheiser with 11:45 left in this game. Still plenty of time for Colorado State to make this comeback. There's no need to start, getting into urgent desperation mode yet. And you can tell that there's experience out in the field when nobody's panicking yet.
Yeah. They're still running their offense.
Yeah, and you can tell that they know this offense like the back of their hand, as not too many errant passes. A lot of the turnovers we've seen have been forced turnovers by a very strong ASU defense. Working right inside, putting it through was Brian Allen, and he was just snuck his way past a man and got right in front of the cage, went low on Rufanis. 11-12, and all of a sudden, it's a whole new game.
Was that Brian Allen? Yeah, Brian, it's a great effort on his part. He's junior from Judge Memorial in Salt Lake City, Utah. Utah being represented here for a yowza.
The whole state of Utah gets a yowza for that goal.
It's actually for Brian, but.
Oh. And just keep in mind that the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic is a 3-week program that happens through March 29th with Princeton University, UCLA, USC, UC San Diego, and the Claremont colleges. And if you want to get involved, again, email us at Matt Holman or at holman@mcla.us. We'd love to get anyone involved. A big stop for this ASU defense. They're heading back the other direction and getting set up on the offensive side. That's exactly what you needed if you're ASU off that ensuing face-off.
Kind of slow Colorado State down a little bit with their offense here. Inside about 10 and a half minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 9-7.
Just a reminder, you can tweet in at us at Trey Lanther. We'd love to hear your thoughts, how you think the game's going, who you think's going to win, who you're rooting for, as it's currently 9-7 with 10:20 to play. If you have a player of the game, vote, tweet at Margot McCauley. A spin move from Denise, still able to get the shot off as he fell to his knees, but it wasn't anywhere near. However, Davis is back for it.
Davis moving the ball right away. Once again, their offense is nicely spread out.
Denis winds and fires. That's a very hard shot, but Denis has not been hitting his marks so far in this one.
Well, and you can also see that Arizona State is not ready to slow this game down too much. They've taken a couple of shots in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, and you can't blame them. It's a team that will always play to win, not to not lose. And with 9:30 left in this game, there's still plenty of time for a lot of things that can happen. 2-goal lead is nothing to sit on right now. A drive put on by Carrasco. He goes to his opposite hand and takes the shot, but back for it was
Rogers.
Red Rogers pulls it out, and ASU is just waiting on the right opportunity. They're being very patient with their offense right now, and they know that if they keep this up, as Piquel passes inside, Billy Main with a turnaround, but somehow that one didn't go through. I don't know if Main wasn't able to get a quality shot off or not, but Colorado State is heading back the other direction, and if they can turn that stop into some momentum on the offensive side and cut this lead to 1, it'd be a huge, huge statement.
They're going to be patient in setting it up, and then they're going to go quickly. Getting their right players on the field, substituting.
The wind is picking up here in Phoenix as a player knocked to the ground. Zach Mathian laying out a body, but the ground ball is recovered by Brandon Dite. Dite tried to work around, and he was shoved down, losing the ball as well. A couple of Rams were down. Mathian comes up with the ground ball. He's still got it. Mathian, that long hair, that head of lettuce flowing in the wind as he passes it up the middle. Somehow Sanchez holds on to it despite taking a hard hit. That is an excellent sequence for ASU, and the fans know it. 7:55 left.
Part of the beauty of this game is watching an athlete run up the field with the ball, and in his case, with the hairs flowing.
Yeah, lax flow is always an interesting thing to analyze. ASU not sporting the usual flow, but Mathian certainly makes up for all that. Sage DeVault to Davis. And ASU, again, we talked about time of possession. That's really what's been killing Colorado State, is that they get to the other end, they get in quality chances, but those chances aren't being extended into long possessions. It's really happening fast for them, which forces their defense back onto the field once ASU's offense takes over. Still a 2-goal game, but ASU hoping to re-extend it to 3. The Sun Devils led by as many as 4 goals heading into this quarter. And we're going to send it down to Margot McCauley for an update from the sideline. A shot taken on.
All right, guys, just a little check-in from the sideline. As you can tell, it's intense on the field, and it is just as intense over here on the sideline. You've got both coaches just, yelling things to their team that maybe I can't repeat on air, but, things are very intense over here. Make sure if you're watching, tweet me at Margot McCauley, your player of the game, so we can catch him for a post-game interview.
Margot, you got to protect yourself down there with those players coming on and off that field like that.
Yeah. I was about to say the same thing. We've seen a couple reports where the referees and players are hustling out on the field, and Margot kind of lost in the crowd as we're nearing the 6-minute mark here. Not crunch time yet, but certainly near it. Colorado State getting set up, just came up with a big defensive stop on one side of the field, and they've been doing that consistently. ASU's offense has really been held down in terms of getting in the scoring department in this quarter, but it's the Colorado State offense on the other side that hasn't been able to come through. They've been knocking at the door, just not on the board. .5:35 on the clock.
Notice that Ryan Burns behind is for ASU is paying a lot of attention. Now he's covering the ball.
Yeah, Ryan Burns, a senior captain. He's earned this spot throughout his career as a nice shot taken from deep, and it was the right setup and the right look, but somehow it left it stick way too early and goes high out of play. And that shot came courtesy of Brian Taggart. As you can tell, probably from the audio, the wind is certainly picking up here in Phoenix. A drive put on by Brian Allen, but nothing there, as this ASU defense is standing its ground. There are not many good looks for Colorado State, despite the fact that they're moving the ball very effectively. 5:20 left in this game.
Yeah, they're staying really comfortable.
A deep try from Taggart, or from Brian Allen, rather, and it's out of play, but back for it was A.J. Stewart.
Colorado ball. Flag is down.
We'll see what the call is going to be here. But
it's a delayed penalty. The idea of this type of penalty is not to take the advantage away from the team that has possession of the ball. So when they lose possession, then the whistle will be blown.
So it's something of a free play for Colorado State. They can be a little aggressive here if they choose. 4:50 left in this game. A nice pass inside, a shot on, somehow didn't go through. Great positioning by the Colorado State offense, but an even better defensive stand from ASU as that one poked up out of the sky. And finally,
ball down, whistle blown.
We're going to get to see what the call is going to be here. 4:31 on the clock, so even with this call, there's not too much time for Colorado State to work with. They're going to have to strike pretty soon here.
Plenty of time, plenty of time. Come on.
Hey, I'm just telling you, with how this ASU defense has been playing, and even the Colorado State defense here in the fourth quarter, both units that are very tough to crack, as the call is an illegal procedure against ASU.
It's a 30-second penalty. It's a shot.
A roller try from outside from Monheiser.
Yeah.
Not sure what he was looking for there, but I mean, if it was more on target, I guess it could have snuck its way in. And we see Trevor Sciatto out on the field in the man-down defense. 4:05 left in the fourth.
Shooter.
Another try, and really missing his mark so far today has been Monheiser. He does have a goal, but a couple of his long-range tries have been way off the mark.
Penalty is over. Teams are at full strength.
Colin Zines looked for something inside, couldn't find anything. 3:40 on the clock. Colorado State with a very long possession here, wearing down this Arizona State defense, but it's come at the cost of a lot of clock being run off in the process. The pass
Open
right
man.
up through the middle, and a shot from Colin Zines.
Yeah, he's going to regret that opportunity because he was wide open.
But back for it was Stewart. Now Stewart going to try and turn around the corner. Instead gets it up top. A shot taken, another low angle from Monheiser, but Rufanis with a huge save. And now Zach Long with it in the midfield. Long is sent down hard.
Let's see what they're going to call here.
He
Loose
lost
ball
the ball.
push.
It's going to be a push. So 3:08 left in this game, and that's a big ruling in favor of ASU because now they're going to have a chance to run off some more clock as they're holding on to a 2-goal lead late here in the fourth quarter. We're going to see ASU get its top midfield line out there. You see Kyle Denis up top, Cooper Piquel on the near side. These guys are the best ball handlers on the team.
Along with Carrasco's out there.
Yeah, and Carrasco, as a freshman, has really proven himself as a guy who you can rely on even in a late-game situation like this.
Yeah, if I've been saying Carrasco all afternoon, I apologize. At least I know he's there.
.220 left in this game. ASU up 9-7. And the Sun Devils just looking to get a quality possession here with a lot of time run off. Denis threatening to drive on the defense, but keeps pulling it out, and that keeps this defense true.
I still think they're looking to score.
A pass inside. Dan Davis puts it through. And ASU has a 3-goal lead again.
I guess they are looking to score.
And that is the mark of a team with confidence. You got a 2-goal lead, under 2 minutes to play, and they are still looking to score. Cooper Piquel with a great feed. He finds Davis, and when Davis is only 5 feet away from the cage, there's almost no doubt about it.
And with a little liftoff.
Yeah, exactly. He does get some airtime, quite a bit, and he did right there. 10-7 the lead for ASU. The sideline is amped up, and Colorado State is going to need a real strong surge late here in order to get back into this one.
Well, they got to contend with this faceoff to start with.
And that's always the first challenge with ASU. And it's one of the hardest in the country. Zach Handy wins the draw, somehow comes up with the ground ball, and that is a big face-off win for ASU. They're going to call a timeout. And smart decision from head coach Joe Thone. You talk this over right now. You've got a 3-goal lead, and expect Colorado State to come out with a very aggressive defensive set. They need to get a turnover fast.
And you can tell Margot over there that we can see, hear, and feel the excitement on the ASU sideline.
Oh, yeah.
And rightfully so, with a 3-goal lead, with 1 minute and 50 seconds, 49 seconds, and the ball. It's looking good. But it ain't over till it's over.
No, it really isn't. And if you're a team like Colorado State, you've got a lot of confidence as well. It's a team that's done this in the past. They've had to make comebacks late before. They've had late-game situations. So it really is going to become a question of how Colorado State can respond. We're going to go down to Margot on the sideline for an update on Colorado State.
All right, guys, right there, got to listen into the CSU huddle. They are all over the place, but they are making a play to get the ball back and get on the scoreboard. They're not giving up yet, even though they're down 3 goals with under 2 minutes. So I think there's going to be a lot of energy coming out here to finish off this game.
See, and that's exactly what we're talking about, Mickey.
Yeah.
This is a team that will not let up. Neither of these teams will, and it's a big reason why they're consistently in the top 5 of the rankings. And this is exactly what you expect out of a game between the number 2 and number 3 teams in the country.
Well, it might be time with a 3-goal lead, or a 3-goal deficit for Colorado State to start using the goalie and double teaming. You can see he's picking up a player outside down by the that's Billy Main that he's picking up. So there's no goalie, and being double teamed here.
And Denis is just carrying 2 guys with him, as that's a tough breakaway to get. An open cage for Billy Main, and he misses it entirely. However, he had a guy back for it, but that was a scare for ASU for a moment. And you know Billy Main probably wants that one back, but still holding on to possession, so it ends up not being too big of a deal for ASU. 1:15 on the clock. ASU still nursing that 3-goal lead. They're looking to hold on to it right here. The ice pick check pokes it free from Maine.
That was a goalie, Salami, that
still on the
knocked
ground.
That ball free.
This time it's Davis who has it, and Davis will have a timeout called from the sideline as Davis picked that one up, and I think it's a heads-up play from Thone. ASU was a little all over the place right there. Not sure if that's what they wanted to look like coming out of the huddle.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this in last night's game with some shots that were unnecessary. But it's kind of hard to turn down a shot when you're facing a goal that you've been looking at all day, but there's nobody in it. Nobody home.
Absolutely. So, again, just a reminder, tweet your player of the game to Margot McCauley, at Margot McCauley. She's our sideline reporter. She'll get him for an interview. We'll also have an interview with the winning head coach. 1:01 on the clock, 10-7 the score as both teams head out of the timeout. We're going to go down to the sideline for Margot McCauley, who has an update from that ASU
All right, guys,
huddle.
right there, ASU used their final timeout. The coach said, guys, we don't need any more goals. Don't let that be your focus right now. Right now, keep the ball and play smart. And if we give it up, we got to play smart defense for this last minute of the game, because we cannot afford to give up a goal and let them get back in this game.
Yeah, and ASU still in its huddle as they're finally broken up by the refs and coming out. Yeah, right now, I mean, not turning the ball over is crucial, but but it's still a 3-goal lead with a minute remaining.
As you can see, Colorado State is ready to double the ball down in there in the corner, and we'll see if they have success with that. But you folks listening at home, watching at home, you could see this happening, so we'll let you enjoy it.
And Denis just sent it across the field for Archie, who had checked in to the game, but it's actually going to be an offsides call going against the Sun Devils, so not much time left. 50 seconds on the clock. Colorado State going to need to move fast. A chance off the crossbar on the bounce. It's scooped up by the Sun Devils, and that might just be Colorado State's last desperation try.
There's the old helicopter
Mikkel
check.
Lost his stick, but it doesn't matter. It's right into the hands of Kyle Denis. 29 seconds left in the game. 10-7 the lead for ASU, and now it's just about watching the clock tick down. But you can bet Colorado State not going to relent at a bit in these final moments. Carrasco tumbles, still up to his feet.
Flags are flying.
10 seconds left in this one.
This is the way last night's game ended, with a little frustration. But referees are on top of it, and we'll finish out this 10 seconds, and we'll try to be quiet here.
Five seconds remain, and it's ASU who comes away with the victory here in the Reach 11 Sports Complex over number 3 Colorado State. And this was a game that wasn't decided until the fourth quarter. It was going back and forth, and all of a sudden, ASU just hit it big.
It was another terrific example of college lacrosse and the excitement of the game and the athleticism that's in there. And I give out a big yowza, yowza, yowza to ASU. Congratulations on a great win. I'd like to also thank Colorado State, Alex Smith and his boys for coming down here, making the trip, and showing off what they have. But as far as the rankings now, we're talking about Arizona State being number 2 and Colorado State being number 3. I think maybe Arizona State will retain that number 2 position.
Yeah, and it was a bit of a questionable thing after their loss to Colorado. But, you know, it's hard to say that ASU is anything worse than the number 2 team in the country. They played neck and neck with Colorado, and then not handily, but had a pretty good showing against Colorado State here today. And you know, when it's all said and done, I think this is the weekend that we should have expected from the top 3 teams here at this event.
Well, I think once again we put on a great show here. The teams did, the players did, the coaches did, even the officials. Well, sort of. But you know, thank you again for all the fans that came out to support the event. LAX Coaches versus Cancer.
Yeah, and the fans, you know, who are watching from home, tuning in, listening to our voices for a whole 2 hours. I can't imagine what that's like. You know, it's really a great event, and it's a great thing that we've seen out here. Some great games, including this one right here. And you know, it's an exciting finish to the event. Arizona State maintains its number 2 spot after taking down Colorado State, but give both teams credit for a very hard-fought battle, very defensive battle, but most importantly, well-coached and disciplined. Nothing out there was rowdy. Nothing out there was off the books. It was all played the way lacrosse should be played.
Absolutely, and clean.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of things here and there, but just really a lot of good sportsmanship, a lot of good things going on here. And we're happy to have everybody here. The players are shaking hands. It's one of the traditions of the sport. If you're new to the sport, kind of like in hockey, in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But Ted's down there still filming away.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We have to keep talking.
It's a marathon. It's a marathon. We're waiting on the sideline reporting from Margot McCauley as she's going to grab the player of the game and head coach Joe Thone from Arizona State. we'll find out who the player of the game is, but we have to give a huge thank you to TVX Video for all the work that they have done all this weekend, coming out here, showing up before any of the broadcasters did, and setting this whole operation up. It's been an awesome weekend, and I can say, from having been to a lot of broadcast situations, this was professional and handled exactly.
Yeah, Ted, turn around, give me a smile, buddy. Thank you very much.
And you
man.
can't see him from up there, but just trust me, it's a beautiful smile. And the thank you is coming directly from Matt Holman to TVX and the entire organizational committee that put this together at the EMW Foundation. But it looks like we have Margot McCauley ready on the sideline. She's got Dan Davis as the player of the game, and it looks like a late addition to the player of the game as
All right,
Zach
Coach,
Handy
what
there
a
as well.
weekend for your team. You come in, you fall to number 1, then you turn around and you get the win today against number 3 Colorado State. How are you feeling about your team's overall performance and just where you're at right now in your season?
They showed me a lot of heart today. We got down in the first half. They were able to score, late in the second quarter. And I called the guys out at the halftime, and I asked for more heart, I asked for more GBs, and they pulled through. You can't coach that kind of stuff. So that comes from inside, and we've got that on this team, and I think that's how we're going to be, persevering through the season.
All right, thanks, Coach. I'm going to turn over here to we've got our player of the game, Dan Davis, 4 goals, 2 assists. How do you feel about your team's performance this weekend?
We battled back from a loss against Boulder. Showed a lot of perseverance, and I'm proud of the way the guys played today and came back when we were down by 1 at halftime and showed a lot of heart.
Anybody out there, mom, dad, friends, teammates you want to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, I'll give out a shout-out to the family back in Connecticut. They're 1,000 miles away, so it's good. They're probably watching right now. They're probably crying or something. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Shout-out to your family. I'm going to step over here. Zach Handy, our player of the tournament for Arizona State. So congrats to you. Everyone makes a big deal. You're the face-off man, the specialist. People want to know how you do what you do.
It's taken a lot of hard work. I've had a great coach, Coach Ben Vosica. He worked with me my freshman through junior year. He's really pushed me hard. He unfortunately couldn't coach me this year, but I'm bringing it down to Zach Mathian. He's working really hard for us. I don't think he's lost one face-off in this entire season. I think he's around 10 for 10. When we're just working hard. He pushes me, I push him, and it's been like that the entire season.
Nice. And anybody you want to give a shout out to watching maybe, or any teammates?
Yeah. My grandparents are watching right now. Hi Grandpa, hi Grandma. Probably my aunt and uncle are watching. I have a huge fan base. My family always watches me, and I love it. Thank you guys.
Thank you. You guys can hear it here. Everyone loves him. He's the star, Zach Handy. See you guys later.
So player of the LAX Coaches vs. Cancer Classic, Zach Handy, giving some comments there. And that does it for us up here in the booth after a great weekend. Mickey, you and I got to see some of the best lacrosse you're going to see all season.
Yeah, it just makes me miss coaching, to tell you the truth. But the truth is, Trey, I really appreciate working with you and you teaching me. This is the first time I've been doing this, and maybe I'll get some more work. But I enjoyed this weekend. And thank you, Matt Holman, for also inviting me out here to do this. And I'll give you one more yowza, yowza, yowza for the entire
tournament. What would a broadcast be without an ending on a yowza note?
All right.
So that does it for us from here in Reach 11. Thank you so much.